everyone and welcome back. Today I'm trying the new limited time steak and queso Crunchwrap Sliders from Taco Bell, and I got these two Crunchwrap Sliders for $5. That's right, $5 for the two of these sliders and the green chili queso sauce. All right, without further ado, let's open up this bag and see what we're looking at. Okay. All right, so here we can see the green chili queso dip. It's nice and warm, and there's a good amount of it. Let's open it. Yeah, there's definitely a good amount of it. It doesn't look as thick as regular typical queso looks, but that's okay, as long as it tastes good, right? And then in here we can see our two tiny Crunchwrap sliders. This is about what I would expect if you're gonna do Crunchwrap sliders. Sliders are not supposed to be big, they're small. So think of like cheeseburger sliders. You don't get a big cheeseburger, you get sliders. So these would be good, I think, for a snack, but if these are not up your alley because they're too small, maybe you can then invest in the actual crunch wrap. All right, I cut our steak Crunchwrap slider into a cross section so we can see that there is marinated steak. There's a little bit of pico de gallo in there. There's cheddar cheese, and there's a creamy chipotle sauce. There's no lettuce, and there's a crispy tortilla tostada shell right there, as you can see. The pico de gallo and cheddar cheese is on top of that, and then underneath is the steak. Okay, now going in for our first bite. So I'm noting the flavor on this is actually not too bad. It's kind of good. You taste that steak, which is good, and you taste a hit of chipotle sauce, which gives you a little bit of heat. You don't taste so much of the cheese. The cheese isn't so wildly dispersed out throughout this tostada crunch wrap, but it is good. All right, now let's try a bite with the queso. Oops, a piece of steak fell in there. After taking a bite with the queso, I still have to say I feel a little bit of that heat. It's not too overpowering. It's a nice subtle heat. I think the queso itself is a little more on the liquidier slash pastier side of things. It's not as thick as regular typical queso can be. And since these are sliders, you get a small portion of everything in here, which isn't terrible if you want a snack, but for people who have bigger tummies for food, I think that they're gonna want like the typical crunch wrap that's the regular size, which they can get. That was not taken off the menu. Overall, I think this is a good snack option. It's not gonna really fill your tummy. The portions are nicely balanced throughout the Crunchwrap sliders. I like the balance between the meat and the cheese. However, the pico de gallo there wasn't that much of. In terms of what's inside of this crunch wrap, I think the steak was nicely balanced throughout and a good bit of the cheese. The one thing that I would say there wasn't as much of was the pico de gallo, but overall this would be a good snack. I think the price is a little bit on the higher side. This was $5 for me, so it's a little bit on the steeper side, but if you are craving a snack, I think this will do you. And if you want to spend $5 on these two in addition to the queso, I think that's a good idea. I think it's okay, but I've heard a lot of people are not really liking this. I think that this is okay. I didn't have a bad time with it. I think there isn't as many things within this to really please people, but like I said, if you want that snack, go for it. But I don't think this is gonna be, you know, #1 on their menu list. I think the crunch wrap is definitely gonna overpower this. And I think people are still gonna be going for the regular crunch wrap. As far as the queso dip, I think it is okay. I think some improvements can be made. It's a little on the pastier, liquidier side, but the taste is okay. It wasn't sour to me. It had a nice, good kick of slight heat. And yeah, I think it could be improved a little bit. These are overall a good snack. So with that, thank you all so much for joining this review. Let me know what you think of these sliders in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.